Hi, my name's Costas.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Weekly Magazine. Quite a lot to get on with before we actually start the show.
Correct.
We had a competition last week, and the competition wasn't a difficult one. Just send us your day jobs, and if you haven't got a day job and you are a full-time magician, just let us know as well.
Yep.
So we had quite a few responses. We got all the participants in this hat. So we're going to read them. We're going to read the best one first.
Yes, we are.
And the second best one last.
Yes.
It's not actually written down on this one.
Oh, okay.
Now, Daniel his day job is, he's an export estimator for toilet cubicles, which we sell all over the world. Now that's a great job.
That's fantastic.
Been working for the same company for 45 years, okay, but not doing the same job all the time. So what's that? He's an export estimator for toilet cubicles. Great.
Andy Hart says a retired police officer.
Jazz Binder, hi Jazz, haven't spoken to you for a while. She's a regulatory accountant in investment banking.
Peter Burkitt says he is a support worker and a part-time magician, but his work keeps him getting gigs, so that's good. Warren
Treadaway, the person that's won most of our competitions. Day job, he's a white van man.
Hey, white van man. Dun, 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 dun. Matt Brown says a pensions... What does it say?
Actuary.
Oh, pensions actuary.
Kevin Bowman, day job, assembler in a factory of one of the world's major lighting groups.
Ah, he brightens my day.
Yeah.
Chris Foster says he is a hotel door locking security systems engineer.
Bet you hate those people that swipe their cards with magnets. Have you found a solution for that? I remember a phase where I was carrying the M5 and all that, going to hotel rooms and the key doesn't work.
Sorry, I'm a magician.
Brian William King Firth, he's an academic support worker at Huddersfield University.
Ooh, interesting. James Heaton says retired but still likes to perform occasionally.
Ben LePage, trainee solicitor.
Graham Robinson says an ICT systems analyst.
Ged Morris, salesman in electrical wholesale.
Tommy Moss says bar magic.
We got Lewis Richardson and Jake Platt, I go to school.
Hey!
And Ray Burrell, he's a music teacher.
Oh, fantastic.
The second best one,
I don't know.
We've got a customer, I think it's fascinating. He builds traffic lights. I'm not going to mention his name because he didn't want me to say it.
Fantastic.
He doesn't like it, but I think it's fascinating.
That's
so
pretty
all the
cool.
lights, the company he works for builds them all.
That is pretty cool.
He puts them together, does all the wiring, and
That
does
is
all the
cool.
casting. It's fascinating. Now, there is a reason behind that request of your day jobs. Is we're always fascinated what our customers actually do in the real world.
Yeah.
And we've got a few people ask, what do other people do for a day job? So we thought we actually post it as a question. Mm-hmm. Another question that was derived from another customer, so we thought we'd do it as a competition as well,
Yes.
is send us what your favourite trick is that you actually currently perform.
Yes.
So what trick do you currently perform that you think is the best one you actually do? If it's a marketed effect, give us the full details. If it's not, just a brief idea of what it might be.
Yep.
Now, we've got all the people that entered into the hat.
The day job hat.
The day job hats. Brian William King Firth, fantastic. Send us your details and we get something out to you. So for next week, just send us what your current favourite trick is that you perform.
Yes.
And again, we do the same next week. What we're reviewing, what we're doing a once over this week.
We're doing a once over of Jay Sankey's Coil.
We're doing a coin band, what's called X. sign here.
Yeah. And Magic Tao's very own Triplex
For Blast
from the past.
from the past. So let's get on with this week's show. The first one sold there is Coil by our good old friend Jay Sankey.
Well, hey, Jay Sankey!
Let's watch live performance and we'll come back and discuss it.
You know, if you put a penny in like a glass of Coke and leave it overnight, it'll polish it because of all the acids.
Yeah.
You know how bad it is. Well, we've been messing around with different kinds of metals to see what could happen.
Okay.
So, I think in my pocket, my inner pocket, there it is. We have a nail,
Right.
a proper nail.
Catch.
Thank you. Now we're going to put this in the can, right? So if we actually, if you just the remnants of the can, so you shake that a little bit. Just shake it. Yeah. Watch. Actually, do you have I'll use my keys. Get that out of there. Open a bit more. You should see something weird happen to the nail. Hold your hand out. Might be a little wet. If it comes out. Okay. Oh, there you go.
No. Oh my god.
With the remnants of Coke.
Yeah, lovely.
You're welcome.
That's amazing. Wow.
Now, you've just seen the live performance we did earlier of Jay Sankey's Coil. What to say? What to say?
I was really surprised with this because you look at the props,
Yeah.
you see the explanation, but you're thinking surely not.
Yeah.
If people that are familiar with Jay Sankey's Holy Moly would understand what I'm saying. You open the package, you look at these washers, you're thinking, what is this? No.
Yeah.
You go and perform it in the real world, you realise how strong Holy Moly is.
Absolutely.
And it's the same for Coil.
It is.
The psychology behind it, I think, is exactly the same. The reaction was better than what I expected.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's very simple. It works.
Same. Thumbs up from Don.
Done the cameraman, thumbs up.
It works in its simplicity. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. Because there are a lot of different effects that he goes through on here with the same method.
You also get a nail which is bent as well.
Yes.
Which is for a different type of routine.
Absolutely. So I was surprised. This isn't the sort of magic that I do. I don't do metal bending. But certainly has put me on the road to look into it.
Well,
I like this. I do like this.
I think it's one of Jay Sankey's better effects of late.
Yes, I agree.
If not the best one he's released the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I think it's very strong. I'm going back to his Holy Moly, where you look at it, you're thinking it's not going to work. What is this prop? But when you perform it, you realise how strong this effect is.
Yeah.
And if you perform Coil, you realise how strong Coil is as well.
And in its own way, it's quite fun to mess with and try and come up with your own little things. Because there are some great ideas on this.
It's actually very deceptive as well.
It is, yeah.
That's what surprised me. The deceptiveness is really strong in this. Again, I highly recommend, if you're a Jay Sankey fan but weren't sure of which one of his latest effects to buy because you weren't really that sure of them, I highly recommend Coil. You can have a lot of fun with this, and it's Jay coming back to what he is good at, is coming up with a really strong effect. And yeah, highly recommend Coil. Fantastic.
Our second once over this week is X Coin Bend by Stephen X. Let's have a look at his performance. We did a little earlier and have a talk about it in a bit. 10 pence piece.
Yeah.
And have a look at that.
Thank you.
And with the Queen's head on it. Yeah. Actually, what we're gonna do is I should have just kept the pen out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna sign sort of the edge of it. Right. So take the pen and just put your initials right on the edge, just right on the edge. Fantastic. And cap the pen. Hopefully that doesn't come off.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Cool. If you put your hand out, hopefully, if we can heat up the metal a little bit. Hopefully.
That's so cool. Oh my god! I love that. That's brilliant. That's amazing.
Ah, there you go.
Now you've just seen a live performance of the X Coin Bend by Stephen X. I'm sure it's his name. It's Stephen X Production, so I'm presuming Stephen X is his first name and X is his
X.
Well, the first letter of his surname.
Yeah. We
Stephen
don't
X.
know. It's a mystery.
Now, what to say about this? Okay, if you currently do a signed coin with a gimmick, you wouldn't want to do this.
No, that's correct.
Because you already have a coin bender of your choice in order to accomplish a signed coin bend.
Yeah.
What really surprised me with Coin X, or X Coin Bend, whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
is you actually do have a signed coin bend without a gimmick.
Yes.
There's no gimmick involved. So you're moving from one of the traditional original methods with a signed coin version.
Yeah.
And the reaction it got was really, really strong.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's very visual as well. So if you don't have a coin bender of choice, you don't do a coin bend routine, but you've always wanted to have a coin signed that bent as well, I can't recommend X Coin Bend highly enough. It's not something I would use. I don't do coin bending. But it does. I was actually really surprised how deceptive this really is.
Yeah.
It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
It's
The one thing I do have to say about it is I have very, very thin fingers, and making up what you have to make up and the routining of it, I had to be a bit more sneaky with what I was doing than I could have been. If you watch this, he's got thicker fingers than I do.
But the thing is, with Magic, you found a way around it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what it's all about. You found a way around it, and you still got it to work.
Yeah.
And you made the coin as though it was bending in front of her.
Yes.
But you don't need to do that. But having a non-gimmick's not the right phrase, but not having a gimmick to do the coin bend and having it signed, I think there's a lot of pluses towards this. So if you were on the fence and you wanted to do a coin bend routine, a lot of people said, well, you need to have the coin bend signed in order for it to be strong.
Yeah.
Well, now you can with X Coin Bend.
Yeah.
It accomplishes all that. You're not paying a lot of money for an expensive gimmick.
Absolutely.
But what we're also doing, whoever buys X Coin Bend, we are supplying a free copy of Vulcan by Romanos. This is a spoon bending routine and his coin bending routine, and on there it explains how to accomplish one of the elements of this in an easy way.
Right.
One of the methods of setting this up is fully explained on Vulcan here.
Well, hey.
So you got a bit more information of how you can actually get to it and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
So you get that free with every order of X Coin Bend. I didn't believe I was gonna like this. So it's impressed me.
Yes, I am.
For a coin bending routine, doesn't involve a gimmick. I think it's a strong one,
and it looks very simple. It's not
that's true.
Shifting people back and forth, or
don't have in your mind that, well, I prefer to do it with a gimmick because I can do it live and all that kind of stuff. this isn't for you if you already got a gimmick. If you haven't got a gimmick and you want to do a coin bend, and one that actually does work and is very deceptive, and you can have it signed as well, then have a go at X Coin Bend. Now the question and answer this week was, what trick would you no longer perform and why? Okay, it's a continuation of last week's as well. So we've got the same question, we've got loads more responses. One of the reasons I like asking questions is it's always fascinating to know what other magicians' responses are. And this particular question hit the nail on the head regarding one aspect, which we'll get to at the end. And it's just one important aspect in magic, but I'll explain a bit more at the end. And let's read some people's responses. But first of all, this was a trick of what trick would you no longer perform and why? But it also turned out to be a what trick would you not perform and why?
Right, okay, cool.
So you got a bit of both.
Jamie De Niro Williams says, last few bookings I've taken, they have all mentioned the hole in the lemon, so I don't think I'd be doing that one for a while.
I suppose it's from Britain's
Got
Talent.
Talent, yes.
Matt Gutwell, he doesn't perform card magic, period. It doesn't suit me and I don't suit it. Prefer to stick to what I am comfortable with and can perform really well. Now that's really interesting.
That's very really interesting. Baz the Magician says, ring flight with an expensive or sentimental ring. Why? Because my insurance doesn't cover damage, nor no insurance can cover sentimental loss or damage, and spectators could lie about missing stones or already existing scratches. That's a fair point.
He also says I would only perform it if they are wearing cheap accessory rings from the likes of Nex, etc.
Right. Gordon
Astley, after seeing a magician sacked from a posh corporate, anything to do with spiders?
It seems like there's an interesting story behind that. Mark Waddington says card on ceiling. I've heard a few horror stories of venues charging magicians to remove the card and repaint the ceiling, etc. I'm not willing to take the risk.
I've heard that quite a lot as well, and yeah, you don't want to be sent a bill that's much bigger than your fee for that.
That too, yeah.
Jay Rowling's Invisible Deck.
Huh.
Too much exposure and anything done by TV magicians.
Interesting. Pete James says Invisible Deck as well. I know it's an amazing effect and I love it. However, I haven't performed it in 3 years. 2 reasons, really. I was competing for pocket space, and reason 2, I do a similar name any card effect that doesn't require me to take out a pack of cards or do sleight of hand. I just need a wallet, which is already in my pocket anyway, so I can perform it.
Well, that's interesting. So he's not performing it not because he doesn't like it or he got burnt or something bad happened. It's because
pocket space.
It was taken for something else.
Cool.
Okay, do you want to do that one?
Alex D. Fisher says, the web, well, I wouldn't say not anymore, but I'm very selective. Good mate of mine did it for a while ago and it completely ruined one guest's night at the event. Sometimes phobias run deep.
Yeah, that's one reason I've never done it. I saw someone get really scared when another magician performed it to them and it turned me off. Fantastic effect.
Yeah.
However, you do have that element, you don't know who you're performing to.
Yeah, and it's a subjective trick for a right time and place. I think you can't just jump into it and not know.
Well, my answer to this is children's magic.
Fair enough.
Did a kids party, well, going back 20 years ago for my brother, and it was the worst experience of my life, so that put me off. But then again, it's down to me not knowing what I was doing, not being confident, not being in an environment around kids, but that sort of scarred me for life, so I've always stayed away from children's magic.
I had one kid actually manage to rip my sponge bowl in half. Don't know how he did it, but he did it.
This is an interesting, there's a valid synopsis to this. Now, Steve Traglia posts old man's magic, like linking rings, Professor's Nightmare, and anything with matchboxes. aka the classics, dull, obvious methods, and the domain of the dodgy old uncle showing the child the trick. And he also puts, don't get me started on zombie ball and Lysander table. They fool nobody but very young children. Now, I'm not saying that Steve Traglia's response is wrong. You know, that's his opinion and he's got the right to have it. But the reason I put this last, because John Allen then responds, so regardless of presentation, anything not in common use in 2005 is a no-no. And then Sean McCree posts, I'd have to disagree on Zombie Steve, just watch Brian Sefton perform it and it's incredible magic. And I would say if you watch Darren Brown use the Lysander table in his theatre, you're going to want to go and buy one.
Absolutely.
So what I'm trying to get out here is everyone's got their own opinion on why they don't want to perform particular magic.
Yes.
So they've got these views of what good magic is and what old school magic is. But it boils down to, I think John Allen hits the nail on the head, is presentation.
Yes.
You can take an old trick, like for example the zombie ball, create a nice story around it, a piece of theatre, and it could become a fantastic piece to watch.
Absolutely.
Same with the linking rings. I've seen someone do the linking rings and I thought, I really like that, and I don't like the linking rings. I'm with you, Steve. Old school. I would never even attempt to learn linking rings routine. I don't really like them. But when I saw this routine, I'm thinking, this guy's put some work into creating a piece of really enjoyable magic here.
When something can look graceful and magical at the same time, there's something that just, you know, makes you want to watch it.
No,
it does
absolutely.
look magical.
So I think we've got these views of what magic should be and shouldn't be, but if you take it out of the context of what's in your mind and create something around it,
Absolutely.
a nice story, like Arthur, we reviewed a few weeks ago.
Yes.
If you just perform it as an effect, loads of people thought it was rubbish, but when you put a story and context around it, it becomes a really cool piece to do.
Agreed.
So the reason I like this question is because we got this response from Steve, but also came to the conclusion that actually you can adapt your magic and create a nice piece of theatre around it, a nice story, and it will transform it completely.
Yes.
You know, your matchbox trick can be the best thing anyone's seen if you come up with an idea and a story. And the same for, as we said, the zombie, the linking rings or whatever else.
Yeah.
Even all this cheap plastic magic, from
yeah.
Royal Magic, that cost a couple of quid. You can create a
adapt
story that
it,
can adapt it, and you will perform it to a magician at a convention or something. They'll think, oh bloody, that's amazing. There's someone out there that would always change something that can make something look really good.
There's some inspiration for
That's
today.
it. So it's all about, don't disregard an effect.
Just because it is considered old school. Or,
Absolutely, because you could always bring something to the modern times just by changing the presentation and the way you perform it.
This week's blast from the past is Wayne Dobson's Triplex by MagicTao. Let's have a look at a live performance we did earlier and have a talk about it after. We have 3 different items here. We have a die, we have a little ball bearing, and a little clear perspex cylinder, I should say. And I have a prediction behind this magic box.
Okay.
Some people think it's a card box. Now, this is up to you. First of all, I would like you to run around it in your mind a little bit, pick one of the items, and just drag it towards you.
Okay.
Anyone you like.
It's gonna mess it up, isn't
You sure?
it? Yeah.
Did you change your mind any time? Did you think about it a little bit?
Yeah, I did.
Do you think about the ball bearing first?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the interesting thing is, I wasn't kidding, I did have a prediction, and the prediction I actually have.
Now, just seen a brief performance of Triplex by Wayne Dobson. Now, this is another one of those where the reaction is surprising to the method.
Yes, because it's one of those things that we're looking at it and we know what it is, and how can it possibly...
There's multiple outs.
Yes.
But with this, you are only going to show it to the spectator once.
Yeah.
And you always you are always going to be correct in the outcome.
Yep.
And I'm surprised of, at conventions, I remember at Blackpool someone coming up from Germany saying, do you have Triplex with you? Because he knew what it was and wanted to buy it. Now, ironically, we didn't take any with us. So we had to post it later on. People like it from the aspect it fits in a bag. You can take it out, do it once, do it behind your business card, and the outcome's always going to be spot on. Because the spectator doesn't know there's multiple outs, the strong aspect is you predicted their choice or their selection.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those where you're going to have loads of different outcomes. You can't perform it to the same person immediately because it just wouldn't work. But for a little effect,
it's a strong one-hit wonder.
Exactly, and it does work. It's surprising how well it does work.
Yeah.
And it's actually surprising when you do it at conventions, and people are surprised with it. And some people don't even realise there's multiple outs.
Right.
Because you don't sit there trying to justify anything or analyse anything.
You just reveal it,
and that's
how
it.
Can it possibly be?
And it's a short effect, but it does work. All the props are really nicely made, and we thought we'd show you that because we had a customer in saying, "What's this Triplex?" and we showed it to him, and he brought it.
Hey!
And we thought, well, why don't we do it as a blast from the past?
Exactly.
Because it does do
if
what
people
it's
like
supposed
it.
to. In fact, Don does it. And
Don
he
loves it.
'cause it's self-working.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah, it's self-working. Don's
gotta be good.
He's going crazy behind the camera. He's doing this. Woohoo! Yeah. It's
that's great.
Triplex.
It's great.
Fantastic. Two great once-overs this week. Coil by Jay Sankey. I think he's hit the nail on the head with a really strong.
I see what you did there.
What's that?
Nail on the head.
Yeah, actually I didn't do that on purpose, but yeah, I did. Nail on the head. No, he has. I think this is one of his stronger effects of late.
Yes, I agree.
Again, talk about holy moly. If you perform that and you like this, you're gonna. It's on the same par. The reaction
is really strong. Our second once over was Stephen X Coin Bend.
Again, underestimated it. Didn't think I would like it. I do.
Yeah.
If you want a sign coin effect that doesn't use a gimmick, but you want to do a coin bend and you have it signed and stuff, try out X Coin Bend.
Absolutely.
You might find that you like coin bending.
Surprisingly powerful.
And also, whoever buys that gets voted for the additional spoon bending, coin bending, and also tips on whatever the little secret is.
Our blast from the past was Wayne Dobson's Triplex by Magic Tao.
Cool. And also, don't forget, send us your favourite posts in the comments and all that kind of stuff. The favourite magic trick you currently perform and you'll be into the next week's show. We're building a catalogue, I suppose, of people's thoughts and opinions and, still stuff that are happening in the real world. We are fascinated to know what other people are doing.
It does count.
Our viewers are interested in all this stuff as well, so it's not only for our own benefit, everyone else wants to know this stuff as well, hence why we are asking these maybe silly and random questions. Now until next time, catch you later.
Bye!
Before we start, I've got a prediction written down here. I don't need to see what it says, but I'm going to leave that there in my pocket. We'll come back to it in a minute, right? He's just rolled the dice a few times to make sure they always roll a different number. Okay, so just do that a couple of times. Make sure that you're happy.
Shake them, Amy, shake.
So we've got 2 3s and a 2. Do you want to roll it again just to make sure it's different whenever you're happy? Perfect. So yeah, a 4, a 2, a 1. Now you can use 1, 2, or all 3 dice. It's entirely up to you what you want to go with.
All 3.
All 3. Give them one final roll. And so 6, 11, 12. Yes? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Creative abilities. I'll read out what it says now. It says that you will roll 12. And it also says you're going to get the 2 of spades. Let's see how we did, Amy. You rolled 12.
Oh my, wow.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to build the suspense up. That you will roll 7.
Oh god, no way.
And then it goes on to say that you're going to choose the 3 of spades.
Get off.
Let's see how we did. So you rolled 7.
7, yeah. Oh.
Very good.
Thank you. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's written down here. Now the first bit says that you will roll 4. Can you see that?
Lie down.
You roll 4, and then it also predicts the Jack of Spades.
Yes.
Let's see how we did, Chris. Turn it over.
There's no way.
That's really clever.